Plenty of updates from Dallas Stars morning skate, including Mason Marchment undergoing surgery. We'll have that. We'll preview tonight's game against the Rangers and play Shooting Star.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Can the Dallas Stars make it 5 in a row tonight at Madison Square Garden against a struggling New York Rangers side? We shall see. We'll preview the Rangers and we'll play Shooting Star. But first, the latest updates from Dallas Stars morning skate, including Mason Marchment undergoing surgery. We'll get into that first on a Tuesday edition of Locked On Stars that is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets if you win or lose that first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Glad to be with you, Stars fans. I hope everybody's enduring the frigid temperatures in Texas here this week. There's a big snowstorm blizzard supposed to be coming our way. Even in Corpus Christi here in the coastal Benn, it's like 40 degrees. It's pretty bonkers right now. So I hope everybody is staying safe or at least staying warm during this time. But let's hop into some of the latest updates from a Dallas Stars perspective. Mason Marchment, of course, took a puck in the face on December 27th against the Minnesota Wild. He did not return to that game, and head coach Pete DeBoer told the media today that Mason had to have surgery, and he is still considered week to week, which stinks, but I will say the Stars are starting to find some more consistent scoring, which is good news because outside of really Marchment, Seguin, and Duchene for the first 2.5, 3 months of the season, those were the three that the Stars could rely on to score consistently. But lately, we're having Johnston, we're having Benn, and Roope Hintz really start to pick up some of the slack here over the last few weeks, which makes the Mason Marchment absence not as impactful. But of course, we all know what Marchment brings to the Dallas Stars. It certainly sucks not to have him in the lineup on a night in and night out basis because of what he provides as just a scorer, a forechecker, the way he just somehow comes out with a puck every time he's on the forecheck, and he gives Dallas some grit up front and some physicality. So the Stars certainly miss that. But lately, Wyatt Johnston, Jamie Benn, Roope Hintz especially, and Robertson now starting to come on, which is a great, great sign. I want to say Robertson has 6 points in his last 5 games. He's up to 30 now on the season. So he's really starting to turn the corner, which is a great sign. But Marchment is listed as week to week, as Ryan and me sort of discussed about a week ago. It probably is closer to a month from his return, especially after having surgery. But good thing is Stars are starting to find some other guys that are chipping in offensively to make up for the loss that Marchment was. And it's easy to forget, but Marchment is still 5th on the team in scoring with 27 points. Roope's still behind him, which is almost baffling to think about because Roope has 18 goals this season, which leads the Stars, but he only has 6 assists. So Marchment still has 3 points advantage on Roope right now. But that is the latest on Mason Marchment. Some lineup news tonight. This comes from our good friend Sam Nessler, of course, from DLLS. Jake Oettinger will start in goal tonight. Brendan Smith will check in. He's been healthy scratched for the last 7 games. Matt Dumba is out. He is healthy, but Matt Dumba is out. And Artemi, of course, was recalled yesterday by the Dallas Stars from Texas. He did pick up his first career points in the win on Saturday night against the Utah Hockey Club in a 3-2 effort. So Hero is expected to be in the lineup tonight as well. So those are the latest updates in terms of the lineup for tonight. Jake Oettinger will be making his 20th start. I should say his 30th appearance. I want to say it's his 27th start of the season. I could be way wrong on that. No, it's going to be his 30th start. So he started in all the games he's appeared in, which I guess makes a lot of sense. I could not quite remember if perhaps he had come in relief at some point this season. But no, it's going to be his 30th start. He's 19-9-1, 910 save percentage, and 2.35 goals against average. So he will get the nod here this evening at Madison Square Garden. We'll see Brendan Smith, who hasn't played in a game in a while, which of course will turn some heads, and a lot of Stars fans will be asking, why is he even playing? But they need to work him in the lineup the best he can. That way he can still continue to get reps. His last game was against Toronto on December 18th. So they're going to rotate some guys in while they can. It's a long road trip too, right? This is the beginning of I believe a 5-game road trip for Dallas. So they're going to have to work in some bodies. You got Philly coming up, Montreal, Ottawa, and Toronto. It's 8 days. You're going to have to work some different personnel in while you can, especially with the way Dallas has had to lean on some of their other top guys here recently with injuries over the last few months. So Brendan Smith will check back in for the first time since December 18th. Jake Oettinger will get the start. And then the latest update on Mason Marchment, he had to have surgery. So there you go for tonight's lineup updates. I do want to touch on this a bit before we get out of here on the first segment, because I was really curious after watching Benn, Duchene, and Johnston here recently. They look really dominant, really, really dominant. And it got me thinking, where do they sort of line up in the league, and where do they sort of line up within the Dallas Stars on some of the analytics, right? Duchene, Marchment, Seguin, one of the best lines in all of hockey. They still really are, if you look at their numbers, even though they haven't played now together for about a month. They were top 10 in terms of their expected goals percentage amongst the entire NHL. So it got me thinking, we haven't seen a ton of Benn, Duchene, and Johnston, but where do they line up? Well, they've finally reached the threshold of 50 minutes to qualify for these numbers. Stars fans, this trio is fifth in the league in expected goals percentage, 69.7%. Their expected goals for are 4.6, and they've only played 50 minutes together. Like, they are one of the better lines in the National Hockey League right now. Expected goals per 60 minutes, second right now in the NHL behind Aho, Jarvis, and Svechnikov. 5.48 for Benn, Duchene, and Johnston. Like, they are as good as it gets. And again, small sample size we're dealing with. But this trio is the new trio and top dog for the Dallas Stars. And no disrespect to Rope and Robo right now and what they're accomplishing with Evgeny Dodonov, but this is the line that is driving a lot of the Dallas Stars play. And I know I keep bringing this point up, but a few games ago, I believe it was against Ottawa, can't exactly remember, it may have been the Buffalo game, like 22 scoring chances at 5-on-5 for this line in one contest. This line has looked dominant, and they're all starting to really click, and there is a great rhythm between these three. I love the way they play. Two grizzled vets in the kid, two players in their mid-30s, and then you got the kid, Wyatt Johnston, at 21, dominating. Love the line. They bring everything you would want. Duchene, his playmaking ability, puck on his stick, can drive. Wyatt Johnston, we all know what he brings with his skill. He can finish, although it hasn't been perfect for him this season in terms of his execution, but we know he can score. Probably needs to get a bit luckier. And Jamie Benn playing some of his best hockey we have seen all season long, and really some of the best regular season hockey from Jamie Benn. I hate to say it, but it feels like in quite some time, like really impactful stuff from the captain. I've always said it's in there. You just don't see it for 82 games in the regular season. He's Jamie Benn's for the playoffs. He waits to bring his game to the next level in the postseason. We're starting to see some flashes of it now, however, and maybe this is where Dallas starts to really turn it on. I saw an interesting tweet the other day. I believe it was from Robert Tiffin about how Dallas, I think, is only a point separated from last season at where they were at this point right now, which is remarkable. But I would push back and say Dallas doesn't quite look like they did last season in the first half. They were not this inconsistent. Maybe it's recency bias, but I do not recall the Stars being as inconsistent as they were a season ago. And they're still right where they sort of were last season, which is really positive. And sort of what I've been trying to throw out in the earth recently, all the complaints and negatives we have on the Stars, they're still in a good position. They're in the wild card currently, but they still have 3 games in hand on Colorado. They're starting to turn a corner. I mentioned this last week could be a big turning point for Dallas. Starting to look that way. They're starting to turn a corner. Not perfect, but they can pick up points and wins here. And they've won 4 in a row, which is huge. They have to try to make it 5 tonight. Frankly, they should make it 5 tonight against a Rangers squad that is struggling still, even since the last time the Stars lost to them at home, 3-1. They're without Shesterkin, so you don't have to worry about that obstacle, and they're without Kreider. We'll preview the New York Rangers for tonight in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by FanDuel. From big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. The FanDuel app gives you everything you need for live bets, same-game parlays, and so much more. Visit FanDuel.com to join today. It's an absolute blast. It takes 30 seconds to download it on your smartphone as well. Live bet while you're watching the NFL playoffs. Sprinkle some money on who will score a touchdown first, who will win the over-under. So many different options with FanDuel. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. The New York Rangers are 3-7-0 in their last 10 games. Igor Shesterkin was put on the IR on December 31st, but he did skate this morning ahead of tonight's game against the Dallas Stars. He's still on the IR with an upper body injury. He is eligible to come off the IR if healthy enough to dress on Tuesday. So Shesterkin is skating once again. On the flip side, Chris Kreider was placed on the IR with an upper body injury, and he did miss some games earlier in the season. So he is back on the IR, not back on the IR. He was placed on it, and he will not be available for tonight against the Dallas Stars. So New York had to bring up another netminder. We saw Luis Dominga get a start on the previous game against Chicago. He made 25 saves on 25 shots in a 5-2 win for the Rangers. But, of course, the Rangers do have the veteran Jonathan Quick, right, who we all know about, Stanley Cup champion, 6-5-0 this season, hasn't played a ton, but decent numbers, 2.83 goals against average and 903 save percentage. I just have to say I'm glad the Stars aren't seeing Shesterkin again, because the last time the Stars played them, he went a perfect 41 of 42. Not quite perfect, but he stopped 41 on 42 shots, and the Stars went 0 for 7 on the power play. Hopefully, the power play, which has been much better away from the AAC this season, can factor in here tonight against the Rangers, who are 18-20-1 this season. It has been quite the drop-off, but as we know, the Stars were unable to put the Rangers out of their misery a few weeks ago at home. They're 7th in the Metro, 18, 21, 37 points. They're about middle of the pack in terms of goals for and middle of the pack in terms of goals against. Power play, really struggling too about the likes of the Stars this season. Penalty kill is still really, really strong. They're actually 4th in the NHL. But when you have 7 opportunities like they did the other night, I don't care. You got to find a way. You got to find a way to execute. But of course, they bring tons of weapons and still tons of players you have to be worried about, like Panarin and Adam Fox, Trocheck, who can really make your life hell, right? Zibanejad's having a tough year, but lately starting to put it together a bit. He's a -19, which is incredible. They're without Kreider again. But again, Stars have to worry about a lot of different weapons. Like Panarin can take over games. He has 40 points this season. So there's plenty to look out for. But Philip Chytil recently has 5 points in his last 5 games and 4 goals. So Chytil, that's a player to watch tonight on New York. He has 17 points this season, but he's up to double digits in goals now. He's a player to look out for on New York. He's number 72. So be on the lookout for Chytil against the Stars at home. So we'll see how the Stars fare on the road. This is a big trip, right? You can really turn this season, or at least turn the month of January around. Not that they have to turn it around. I should word it in. You can really spur on and gain a lot of momentum here in this 5-game road trip. You take 3 of 5, you feel good. 4 or 5 be fantastic. Some winnable games, right, on this little East Coast road trip for Dallas. They can make some hay and really turn a corner, and to do it without Mason Marchment and, of course, Tyler Seguin, and still trying to figure out your defensive pairings now that you don't have Liam Bichsel in the lineup, and Matt Dumba's back and fully healthy. Brendan Smith is going to check in tonight. There are a lot of ways that this road trip could go. It could fall flat on its face, or Dallas could use this as a little bit of a launching point moving forward. And I hope that's the case for Dallas as they use it as a launching point. I love Artemi, by the way. He's fun to watch. And if you remember, I caught up with Uri Kralik before the season, and we talked about the 13th forward conversation with Dallas. And I was a big fan of Uri in the preseason. And I thought he should get a nod at the job coming out of camp. Oscar Beck, of course, received it, which, of course, has all worked out. He certainly does deserve it. And he recently got a contract extension for his efforts, but he was a fun player. He gets to the net. He's small, just another undrafted guy that the Stars have taken a chance on and is developing, playing really good minutes down the AHL. And he's now he's getting a shot in the NHL with some injuries, and he's playing effective and impactful minutes with different guys, right? Whether it's Sam Steele or whether it's Blackwell. You know, the depth for Dallas is not flashy. It's not always going to give Dallas enough offense or more offense than you would like. But you look at some of the teams recently that have made some runs, right? Like Vegas, some of their depth wasn't always pitching in ton, like Colasar, right? Amadio, some of those guys, but they're just big, and they give you shifts that are positive and can set your next trio up for success. The problem where Dallas has sort of landed in the postseason is their depth is playing well, but their big guys aren't scoring when you need those superstars to score. And then you get teams, of course, like Edmonton, who their big boys were scoring against Dallas, like Connor and Draisaitl and Bouchard, but also the McLeods of the world were scoring too and chipping in. Dallas has the depth that can be sort of like hopefully what we think Edmonton was last season, right? Because it's not going to be Vegas, right? Like Dallas doesn't have the big bruising fourth line or the big bruising, bottom six. Just not their game and not how Pete DeBoer has constructed this roster. It's a lot of Sam Steeles and Colin Blackwell's and our two heroes, right? Sort of undersized forwards that you're hoping can produce. And in the regular season, it works out. It is productive more often than not. Can it be when it really matters? We see it in some series, but a lot of times it's where the bottom six isn't producing or not scoring enough, but also the big guys, the big guns aren't scoring as well. Can they marry the two together, right? Sort of the conversation I'm getting at. Can they marry the two together? And again, conversation for a few months down the line, but it got me thinking just with the hero edition and sort of where the depth is for Dallas right now, when you have really solid players that are just so consistent like Steele. And from what we've seen in, a limited amount of minutes from Hero and of course Blackwell, just what they provide. Really intrigued to see where they go and how the bottom six sort of shapes itself out. Of course, if Dallas adds another body, if Seguin returns from injury here in time, when Marchment gets back, just how the Stars bottom six really is going to shape out. That's an intriguing conversation. We're going to have to continue to have because right now the top two lines looking as strong as ever here this season. Okay. There's a bit of a preview for you tonight against the Rangers. Oettinger in net. Smith will check back in. No Shesterkin and no Kreider for the Rangers this evening at the Madison Square Garden as the Stars kick off a 5-game road trip on the East Coast. It's time for Shooting Star. Drop your picks via the YouTube community tab. Be sure to vote. Drop a comment as well if you would like. We'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Rocket Money. Did Rocket Money help you find any subscriptions you forgot about or that you were paying for twice? That definitely happened to me. You have to have so many subscriptions nowadays to watch, whether it's the Stars or it's another one of your favorite teams, a show that you love that you can only watch on one certain streaming channel, right? That's why Rocket Money is there for you so you can track them all down in case you're paying for something you're not using. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills so you can grow your savings. It brings together everything in one place, whether subscriptions, your spending habits, or even goals you want to reach for the new year. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved up to a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of your app's premium features. Rocket Money can track down all of those unwanted subscriptions. You probably have a few you don't even know you're paying for. Cancel those ones. Reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon. America's favorite segment, Shooting Star, on Tuesday, January 7th, the Dallas Stars taking on the New York Rangers. And I'm not overthinking this one at all. I'm going with Jason Robertson, 21. He's been cooking recently, 30 points in 38 games. He gets his 10th goal of the season here tonight. 7 points in his last 5 games. He was skunked in the overtime win against Utah the other night. Not overthinking it. Robertson, a big night in MSG. Stars take this one big. I'm taking the final score prediction. I usually don't do this. 6-2 tonight over the Rangers. That's my prediction and shooting star pick. Let me know yours in the comment section below. And as always, please cooperate or participate. I said cooperate, but participate in the YouTube community tab. I appreciate you as we continue to get these shooting star answers in throughout the season. So I'm going with 21. I'm feeling a big night for Mr. Robertson. So there you go. I did want to relay some information that kind of spurred over the weekend. I wasn't quite able to get to on Locked On Stars, just to clean up some things we missed. Justin Ritscovian, of course, who made his NHL debut a few weeks ago with the Stars. He was the AHL Rookie of the Month for December, had 10 points, including 7 goals. So Ritscovian, congratulations to him, AHL Rookie of the Month. And then Curtis McKenzie, of course, the Stars captain down in Cedar Park, was selected as a 2025 AHL All-Star Classic playing captain for the Western Conference. So congratulations to Curtis McKenzie, who is having such a solid career down in Texas. So wanted to show some love to those two Texas Stars who earned some recognition over the weekend. Wanted to make sure I showed them some love on the pod today. Well, there you go. That will about do it for a Tuesday edition of Locked On Stars. Want to thank you for joining us as always. Apologize for not having an episode out yesterday. It was a long weekend and needed to take a day off to reset. It kind of worked out with the Stars having an off day. So we'll be back at it, of course, every day this week. It'll be a bit funky. I'll be in Shreveport here in a few days as well. We have to travel a bit early because of that snowstorm or whatever's coming down. Hopefully it's not going to be too crazy, since we all know in the South, we do not have the resources to deal with snow and ice on the roads. And it is a struggle for a lot of people down here to figure out how to drive. But hey, it's fair. Okay. Not everybody got to live up north for a period of time. So it can be a struggle. Well, mainly because the roads are just crap, because we have really nothing to combat them. But anyways, stay warm during the frigid temperatures. Enjoy the game tonight. I'll be back with an episode tomorrow. We'll break it all down. Hopefully the Stars win, and we'll continue to roll here in 2025. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. So long, Stars fans.